welcome. This is Miss Lady CC with Leaders in Purpose. Who is a leader? That is you, and me. We are all leaders in purpose. Today we have pissed off grandmas on our show today. I said some pissed off grandmas, and grandpa is here today. But before we go on, before we go ahead and talk to them, let us go ahead on and give a moment of silence to our ancestors, to those who we lost in the in our wars. The 11th, the 10th was the not the Navy's, but the Marines' birthday, 250 years. And the 11th was the Veterans Day. So let's go ahead and give some honor to our soldiers that are alive and that have transitioned with a moment of silence. Great. And next, what we have you do, we would check yourself before you wreck yourself. And that means you take your moral codes, you take your guidance, your guidelines that you have for yourself, and you go down the list, whether it's the 10 commandments or the 42 laws of Ma'at, and you look at them, and if you followed your moral code, give yourself the biggest hug in the whole wide world. And if you didn't follow your moral code, let's say, for instance, you have the scripture that says, thou shalt not lie. Perhaps you told a green, black, red, or orange little white lie today, and it's like, wow, I did lie today. So you picture yourself lying. You picture yourself doing it right. You picture yourself the positive effect on yourself. You picture yourself not lying. The picture the positive effect on yourself. The picture the positive effect on others. And then you give yourself a hug. And you go down all, whether it's the 10 commandments, go down the whole line and check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. And you can do that morning, afternoon, and evening. Next, we're going to do some grounding where we just a little grounding where we just tap the top of our heads, inside of our eyebrows, underneath our nose, tap our chin, tap our shoulders, tap our wrists, palms up and palms down. We're going to tap our sides. And we're even going to tap our waist all the way down from our feet, from our waist to our feet, and then shake it out. Don't that feel good? That's a great grounding technique. I learned that from a psychologist friend. Just tap, 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 honey. Now, we got pissed off grandmas in the house, honey. What is grandma pissed off at today, honey? Did y'all leave the door open when the heat was on, sugar dumpling, honey, and let all the air out, let all the heat outside, honey? What did you do, honey? What did you do? Did you go over there and start tasting the food with your fingers and putting your fingers all in the pot and giving your germs to everybody, honey? What you do today to piss off grandma? Well, sugar Miss Grandma is going to tell you what's pissing her off today in this day and age. So we want to welcome Miss Pissed Off Grandma. Please introduce yourself and your husband.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Hooper, and I'm the organizer for the Omaha chapter of Pissed Off Grandmas. And I have a wonderful supporter that backs the Pissed Off Grandmas, and he travels and carries our boombox and organizes our music. And I'm married to a wonderful pissed off grandpa, and his name is Don Hooper.
My name is Don Hooper, and I just support the Pissed Off Grandmas in their actions to try to save democracy, and they're bringing some light and some happiness to people with their singing. And the Pissed Off Grandmas really enjoy getting together. They have a lot of fun together. They're able to laugh through some tough times and just have some fun and share that with others.
Yes, now Pissed Off Grandma, Pissed Off Grandpa told us what Pissed Off Grandma is pissed off about, and he said we need to save the democracy. What is going on? So we need to save the democracy. And I know some of the things that I know need to save the democracy. Them Epstein files, honey, I'm pissed off about that. What else are you pissed off about, Grandma?
Well, at the turn of this election, things were not setting well with myself nor my husband. And I got up out of bed and woke him up, and I said, you know what? We've got to make a difference. We've got 4 beautiful grandchildren. We've got to do things to try to make changes in our country so they can have a positive future. We are in our late 70s. We are blessed to both have great health, and I feel like we still have a lot of energy. And I said to him, are you on board? And he was on board, and here we are.
Honey, I want you to see this sash, honey. Can you walk up there and show them your sash and
Yeah.
your outfit
Can I
and your
keep
hat?
my ear things on?
Oh, you can take them off.
Can I take them off?
Yeah, you take them off.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you hand it to me. And this is what pissed off grandma go around. Like I said, she's starting another chapter, honey. Okay, go on, pissed off grandma. Yep, show him that hat too, honey. Show him that hat. There we go. There we go, honey. Yeah. There we go, honey. Pissed off grandma is serious, honey. She's serious about this. Now, I first met pissed off grandma at a rally on 42nd and Center on Veterans Day here. The Thursday, wasn't that Thursday? The 11th, 2025 this week. And the pissed off grandmas were there. They were singing songs and holding up signs while others were holding up signs as people honked by to show that they supported us. So, what are you pissed off about, and what are you going to do about it?
We decided with everything that's going in society, and a lot of people are extremely frustrated. I belong to a group called Like-Minded Friends, and in that group, we decided we needed to do something to add some fun. This is a long duration. People are getting depressed. We need to add some happiness to our life. So we decided we were going to start singing messages about social injustice and going out into the community. We did our very first event while the College World Series was going on. And there were a group of 5 women, and I says, let's make some crazy hats, and I'll make some banners, and I'll make some songbooks, and I got a boombox and a microphone, and my husband is great at knowing how to choreograph all of that and make that work for us. Let's go down to the old market and let's go have some fun. And we did. And the College World Series was going on, and people came up and gave us hugs. They wanted their pictures taken with us. They loved the social messages about the policies that were going on in this country that we were upset about. And things have evolved so that we are singing about a lot of issues. Recently, here in Omaha, we were very involved by going to City Council and speaking on not putting the homeless in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And City Council was very appreciative to see a row of 12 pissed off grandmas sitting out there and willing to talk about this issue. And then we sang outside about protecting the homeless. And now we've got a lot of new issues that we are singing about the immigrants and how they've lost all their freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And how we feel like we've lost our whole Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
That is a big issue that we are singing about. On Veterans Day, we wished our veterans got more honor and more respect. They serve this country. They do wonderful things for us to have the freedom that we have in the USA.
Yes.
And we just do not give them enough respect. And when we go out and we sing, we bring joy, happiness, and smiles. And that is just rewarding in itself. But we've also gone to a lot of county fairs. We've gone to Plattsmouth. We've gone to Sarpy County Fair. When we went to Sarpy County Fair, it was so rewarding to see these high school girls and guys cheering on the POGs. When we finished that performance, those teenagers came up and they visited with us. And we were able to get in conversation about their views on politics, and we were able to share our views. I think the POG group is a very non-threatening group. People feel comfortable when we sing. Many times we have little kids that want to come up and want to hold a pissed off grandma's hand, and they want to sing with her. We're inviting. We give a wonderful flavor. We all are up in our age, but we're not too old to not get involved and make a difference. And that's what we're all about. We are out there trying to spread some joy, be able to talk about politics, and have a wonderful time. We started off with 5 pissed off grandmas, and now we are up to 85 pissed off grandmas in Omaha. And this coming week, we are going to Lincoln to visit a home, and in that home, there are going to be 25 new ladies in Lincoln, and they are going to start a chapter of Pissed Off Grandmas. And then we are all going to go together to our governor's mansion in Lincoln, and we have other groups that will have signs because we are protesting the Cornhusker Clink. I graduated from the University of Nebraska. For this facility be given that name is a disgrace to the University of Nebraska. But what is happening by imprisoning these immigrants that did no crimes, and they are being put in prison, torn away from their families. And the way this is happening in our country is so wrong. We are not doing what is right for America. I also am a farmer, and it's hurting agricultural farmers by having our immigrants deported. And then you've got the tariffs that are going on. And if you're a farmer or a cattleman, you know how bad farmers are going to be hurting because of those tariffs. And there's going to be many farmers that are going to be forced to lose their farms because of these tariffs.
Wow.
There are just numerous problems that are going on in our country. I have a granddaughter that has an IEP. And if those of you don't know, that means she gets special services. She has cerebral palsy. She's the most beautiful child, and she needs extra services. And with the Department of Education, the cuts that they are making to the funding, it is a disgrace. I was at Lakeshore Learning, and I was laminating some Pissed Off Grandma books. And I was visiting with a lady, and she was a teacher, and she taught in OPS. And she told me that she was a teacher and she had 9 students. 3 of them were autistic. And in the month of February, all of these services for the autistic children are being dropped. We know the impact of what our schools are going to be faced with in this coming year, and it's not pretty. My husband, I'm going to let him speak a little bit because he was an educator for 42 years, and he definitely would like to share some details about how education is going to be impacted.
I agree totally. Just the dismantling of the education department and doing away with DEI and those types of things are just really damaging to not just the students but also the staff and the faculty and their inability to provide services for these students that need these services. My wife talked about our granddaughter, and she gets all ones. She does a fantastic job, but she works her tail off to get that. And she has some processing problems, and she just needs some extra time to be able to accomplish those things. And she gets those, but she also has a special education teacher that's key to her life. And some of these services are going to be cut back, some are going to be eliminated, and it's just a disgrace to the education department that this is going to be happening. And it's hurting all the children in America. It's putting a big burden on our educators and their inability to do their job with the ability that they have to try to accomplish what they want to accomplish with the students. And so the education department is one, but I'll go back to the immigrations and the ICE situation and arrests and the illegal arrests that are happening and arresting even United States citizens at times, and then them being released but being thrown to the ground and hands behind their back. And I think I saw a pregnant woman that was thrown to the ground in Chicago. And just the inhumane situation and the way that they're going about it is all wrong. It's the same way they did with all the cuts in all the different departments with the USAID. There are children starving and dying because they're not getting the food and the nutrition that they need. And it just goes on and on and on with the services and the agencies that are being eliminated and how all of Americans are being affected. And the rich don't care. They really don't care. They're just moving on like nothing's wrong. And our congressmen and our senators have disappeared. They haven't done anything since September. They just came back to pass. And it's just so upsetting. And I have to mention our president. He has no morals. He's not a person that I don't know how anybody could look up to him, but everybody's scared to death of him. And I continue to say that if Congress stood up as a group and the senators stood up as a group and united, they could overcome what's happening, because he is the one that's tearing this country apart, and it's very, very sad.
I'm very concerned that with the dictatorship that we have that is going on, it is very prevalent in our USA. And I don't want my grandkids to have a country like Russia. But we're headed in that direction. When you've got a president that decides on his own that he's going to build a big ballroom. That's his priority. When he's got people starving, he's taking health care away from people that are going to die because they're not going to have health care. It is wrong. Last night, I was at a Nebraska for Us meeting, and they have storytelling. And there were 5 people that told their story of how the impact of them losing their health care and what their life will be like. We are all human. Some of us were faced by having a child that is handicapped, or a brother or a sister. We don't ignore them. No. As a Christian, we do what God wants us to do. We take care of the poor. We take care of the people that are sick and dying. We don't cut off our services to them. We can do better than this. And then, for all the recent women that are wrapped up in the Epstein files,
Okay.
it is so wrong that these women have had the courage to come forth and tell how they were victimized and the horrendous things that happened to them. And who was Epstein's friend? Donald Trump. And I pray that there will be some justice and that the Republicans, please stand up to Donald Trump and do the right things to protect these victims. We deserve to have those files. We deserve to have the names of all those involved, and they should be held accountable. We've got to do better.
Oh my goodness. Honey, all I can do is say Ashe, Amen, Namaste, Hotep, Hete, Pu, Ayi, Bobo, Avim, honey, all that. Because, Amen, because what was said is the roof truth. Not only truth, honey, it's the roof truth. Hands on your hip, let your backbone slip truth, honey. Facts. We all have our truths, honey, but these are facts. We need, our country can do better. Now, I'm spiritual now. But in a country that calls itself Christian and they say that they do what would Jesus do? Like she said, Jesus healed the sick. Jesus gave healed the blind and gave hearing to the deaf and those that they were different than him. Who was it? The Good Samaritan.
Right.
He saw somebody that was different than him on the road, highway. He took him up and put him in a hotel and said, whatever he needs, honey, I'll come back and I'll take care of it. And for United States of America to have that, is that the Guantanamo Bay where they have the crocodile aisle?
Yes.
That's a disgrace. That's a disgrace to humanity. For us to even be in a ballpark, even in a line with something that horrific. Oh my goodness. Now and when it comes to that DEI, I mean, it's going back to the 60s and the 40s and the 30s where melanated people are being persecuted all over again and again and again and again. Because they're taking our Haitians brothers and sisters and putting the American natives, black melanated American natives, and then regular African Americans, and lumping us all together and treating us again like feces on the ground. When we all made this country great. I said, we all made this country great. So I'm with pissed off grandma, honey. I'm a great grandma and I'm a grandma, and I'm pissed off too.
But we gotta add a little bit of humor into it, and by us all getting together, singing, we welcome everybody. If you're a pissed off grandma, just call Marilyn Hooper, 402-599-3227. I will be glad to sign you up. Just because you're old, you make a difference. The pissed off grandmas, when we get together, there's a spiritual healing that goes on between us because we understand each other. We embrace each other, and we sing together, and we laugh together, and we dance together when we sing. And it's important to do that. And that's the one thing the pissed off grandmas do. We have a good time. We get the crowd into singing with us. And it is so rewarding to know that you can bring a little bit of happiness into people's lives. And so it's an honor to be a pissed off grandma. And all grandmas, all people that are old, it's not too late for you to be involved. You have to use your 5 calls. Call your senators on your issues. Call the congressman. If you can write postcards for the upcoming election, that's very important. I became a League of Women Voters when Trump became elected. I try to stay very involved in all kinds of ways to get people to vote. Voting is the one thing we all are capable of. Only about 60% of the people in Omaha vote in our elections. To me, that's a disgrace. But we have a job to do, so we know that. So what are we going to do about that? If that means we got to go out door knocking and campaigning and getting people educated about voting, then let's do it. Make a difference. And when we have only 30% of our people that vote in our primary, that's a real crying shame. So all of you elderlies, if you think you can't make a difference, you can make a difference. Call those congressmen, call those senators. Get involved with however you can help the League of Women Voters to encourage people to vote. You make a difference. We can all make a difference.
And
I prefer to say grown-ups rather than older people, and I think the GOPs, the POGs are promoting these things for our children and for our grandchildren. That's our concern right now, is for their future. And the pissed off grandmas are doing that and having fun doing it. And I'll go along with my wife in saying that voting, we need to get out and vote and make a difference.
that's Leaders in Purpose with Miss Lady Cece. Thank you so much for being here.